Welcome back to the Analyst Desk. FlyQuest is back to 599. Cloud9 drops yet another game, and we're down to 4 folded scenarios. 0, 1, 2, or 3 tiebreaker games. Interesting.
Who knows?
You were on your phone, Mark, though. You had some good stuff to say.
Yeah, I mean, this was a very fun game. I think not only did FlyQuest upset, but the way they did it, it's the second loss in a row for Summit against Malphite. Yeah. It seems to be the counter. And so someone on Reddit, CLG Wrath2 in the postgame thread said, who knew the biggest counter to Mount Summit, referencing our MVP race, would end up being a mountain himself? And Malphite, you just pick it.
It's going to be really interesting, like, just to all people who have MVP votes, take the whole split into account. Because, like, if you just went off this last week, I have no idea what would happen. There's been, like, we were hyping Someday a little bit. They lost on the Lucian game. No one has been actually that consistent this week. We've probably had more upsets this week than almost any other week in LCS.
The thing that's been most consistent is every time we try to hype someone on the broadcast, they lose.
Including the Summit monologue. Let's get into the highlights of this game, because it was a pretty tight one for a lot of it. Summit did have like 130 CS lead, a lot of back and forth.
This felt like a game to me where C9 was kind of a good enough team to make this competitive despite having a very strange draft team where they're super early rotationing both solo laners and then the Lee Sin first pick, which just says, we're 1-3-1, we're super into this, you get counter picks on both of our lanes and we don't care, but that matters.
I actually really loved seeing the Misfortune pick come out here. It's something that we've seen in LPL from Fodic and then most recently with Teddy on Kwangdong Freaks. I think she just gives so much zone control, and you could see the early playmaking from her and Nautilus there, too.
Yeah, I mean, he was able to get play of the game for a lot of these plays here. And it was back and forth because of plays like these from Fudge. I think Fudge had a great game, and if he was the one that ended up winning out of this one, he would have been the player of the game, quite simply. Not only just this team fight where he came up in a really great flank, but also in the side lane in which Tryndamere was chasing down a Malphite with no ulti. He actually made a pretty good chase down when all of FlyQuest was back on base. So, like, he made a lot of the plays happen for this team.
Yeah, with the ability to get counter picks in their lanes, FlyQuest secured decent matchups and an incredibly annoying teamfight comp. Look at this. Vex goes in, stun, feared up, then the Malphite ult with the MF ult layered on top. This is like an old school press R comp that Fly was able to draft without really getting punished in laning, which is normally the way that you get punished when you try and take one of these wombo combos.
And we did see during a lot of portions of this game, Mark, where we saw big CS leads being accrued by Cloud9, but it didn't necessarily matter. Right? At a certain point, FlyQuest was able to just get into a 5v5 because they were stacking dragons, and they'd just be able to fight the fights.
Yeah, I mean, like, a lot of these fights were based off of the MF pick like you were talking about, Emily, where we even run it, it was getting pretty dicey. You know, C9 ends up winning a pick, getting a pick in a fight, and then goes to a Baron situation where Johnson comes up big. And I know that we have some of the replays for it.
Speaking of which, Grubhub delivering the win. Boom. Johnson, a lot of sequences in this game were huge for Johnson.
Let's go straight into it, because this was the moment that I was talking about. It felt pretty easy for Cloud9 to take it, but Azael talked about it in the cast, where Blabber was going to die if he didn't smite for help. And so it created an opportunity for MF to not only get the kill, get Baron, and back off of this one. Smart for them to give away Kumo just for them to be able to get Baron and be able to set up the map again.
And this is the other super important neutral objective, Ocean Soul Point. The fact that it was gonna get dicey. It was a back and forth fight, and Johnson was able to kite this one out very well, always trying to hit the closest target as they run into him onto Lee Sin, having the stopwatch there to make sure he can't go down early, and eventually finding a huge ultimate.
Yeah, this one is a really interesting fight because a lot of players on FlyQuest had the ultimate win. I thought the hook from Aphelios was great, but look at the ultimate from Johnson to punish the engage that Tryndamere had. So overall, a great game for Johnson on his Misfortune.
Huge. Almost got faked up by LeBlanc at the end. Not only is Grubhub delivering the win on the LCS broadcast, they're delivering all of your snacks and drinks to your doorstep now with convenience delivery. So keep yourself fed and use code LCS Goods for $10 off your convenience orders of $20+.
Boom.
Gotta love FlyQuest being 9-9. And the spiciness of this last week we have, it actually keeps the importance of all of these future games. FlyQuest can still get fourth. TL versus TSM matters a whole lot, but shifting gears to our next game, not TSM versus TL yet, it is Immortals Revenge, reflecting and looking at his lane opponent, Licorice, so check it out.
Licorice is definitely a top winner I've always respected. Before I was even in pro play, I would always watch him popping off, and I think it's been really cool laning against him and seeing my skill level line up with him. Yeah, when I was actually in Academy, my Spring Split, when the very dominant Cloud9 was happening before COVID, he was by far the most dominant top laner. So watching him in scrims was just really, really cool. Like it was like, wow, this guy's definitely above everyone else here. Like it's not even close. So that was very cool.
Okay, very cool to listen to. But we're gonna go through playoff scenarios because we've been folding sheets
all
for the
weekend
past
long.
2 days.
So
We're
thick.
down to here. We need to tell you what it means. Emily, you have the best handwriting of the group.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah. I can do it if you
Let's
don't want
go.
to. I
No,
mean,
I
my
like-
handwriting.
I love
we just
drawing
won't know
on
which
things.
team is
Let's
where.
Go.
Break it down.
Yeah. So TL probably has front row seats to first seed, right? If they beat TSM.
All they have to do is beat TSM.
Yeah. Well,
So
Well,
you make
how
it
the
sound
weekend's
easy.
gone. It's not a
They
shoo-in.
just have to win.
But the fate is in
Okay.
their own hands, and if they do that, Cloud9 is guaranteed second then. There's no tiebreaker because 100 Thieves also lost earlier today to get third.
yeah. 100 Thieves is locked in third, no matter what.
Thieves, yes.
Yeah.
And then we'll have that three-way tiebreaker for fourth. So if Golden Guardians lose this, then they would just be sixth. Is that going to happen?
Emily, write it in. What do you
Write
think?
it in.
Happens?
This is
All
Emily's
right,
version of the
you guys
playoff
think
bracket.
that's
Versus
gonna happen?
Immortals.
Okay.
Versus Immortals. No, we're asking
Okay,
you.
Okay.
Oh, you're asking
This
me?
is your prediction.
I would have.
Do your own version. Just fill it in.
I said they would win.
There
we
we
go.
go.
So then we have a three-way tiebreaker. Who wins
Yeah.
three-way tiebreaker?
Well, it's EG is seeded, right?
Yeah.
Because they have the.
Yeah, EG would
the
have top seed in the
head-to-head.
tiebreaker.
Yeah, so they have the top seed. I say GG win, and then EG wins. So
There we
EG
go.
would be
Okay.
here. This is Raz's bracket, isn't it? Actually, no, I'm thinking about it. It'd be what? Fly would be here, right? Yeah.
I'm glad we agree on that one.
But
And
the
then
big
GG.
the big importance here that we're kind of pointing out is the one seed very important because
Yeah.
it gets you out of that big three dynamic.
Like even with I do think EG are a strong team, but if you asked me if I'm TL, if I'd rather face EG, who have still been like woof from game to game, or a rising 100 Thieves, or even C9, who still has a lot of threats, I would definitely.
All right, I'm going to show the chaos scenario. 'Cause
Oh,
this,
God.
this is
Okay,
assuming
here we
TL
go.
wins. And
Let's
you
trade.
don't know that that's going to happen with how things have gone. So we can still get a bunch of tiebreakers. We can get up to
Yep.
3, I believe.
Yeah.
That's going to be with a TL loss to TSM.
Yep.
This can become
And then the
TL
Immortals win.
or C9.
Yep.
The other one then would go down here. I'm not going to write it again because I'm
perfect.
lazy. 100 Thieves is just perma-locked in here no matter what.
Yep.
Yep.
This can also be a tiebreaker situation.
Yeah, between either EG, FlyQuest, or Golden Guardians.
So I'm just going to, it could, all
Wow,
three
what
of
is
these
going
come
on?
together between EG, GG,
Yeah.
and Fly. This is why I didn't do this to start. I was the backup plan.
Wait, is that how you write your Ys?
This is a good
That's
one.
cursed.
Write
know
your
what I
Y
would do.
again.
Do another
Write your
one.
Y
Do
again.
another
It was
Right?
like a
No,
oh.
that's cheating.
Yeah,
You
you didn't. Yeah,
That's
that,
a pretty good why.
That was the way you did it the first time with
Okay.
like the up.
How
from
do you
the
draw a
bottom.
star? Everyone
Oh,
draws
God.
stars differently.
That's disgusting.
That's what I've learned.
That's
yeah.
actually
I do a 4 at the start.
I start from
Have you
the
done that one?
Can I sit down
bottom
now?
left.
Can I get
Yeah,
out
you
of
can
the
come.
Yeah,
You're-
sorry,
you're-
sorry.
Can I go back to my
Sorry.
seat?
I'm ashamed of how you
Another
review
update
stars.
we have on the Immortals side is they are eliminated, so
Yeah.
they're trying some stuff out. They will be fielding Chad today in the jungle. He's actually the Proving Grounds 2021 champion, as Kelsey informed me, and also I was watching that series, 100 Thieves versus TLA last year, but here we go.
And I've cast a couple Academy matches this split. He's actually a pretty aggressive jungler. They had a strong playstyle of hovering around bot lane. They played around Arrow a lot in that season. He also was propped up a lot by Pretty. A lot of their mid-jungle combinations were about kind of making sure Chad could get off the ground. So I do think he's someone who is a little raw and that will need to have the team adjust to him a little more.
Yeah, and I mean, we were just singing the praises of CLG Academy and how they got first in their split, but when we looked at Proving Grounds, it was IMT Academy that ended up coming out on top, right? They're the ones that ended up taking down CLG Academy based off the strengths, of course, of their players. And for me, it has been around Pretty and, of course, Chad Jungle, so it's nice to be able to see him get his time in the light.
And one thing I want to point out between these two teams is both of them have had issues with closing out games. We've seen a lot of Immortals early leads that didn't lead to victory. It happened a lot with Golden Guardians too. So we pulled the stat, how many games have they been ahead at 14 minutes? And it didn't come out as crazy as I thought. Weirdly, Golden Guardians has actually won multiple games where they haven't had a lead at 14 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's actually pretty indicative of their schedule. And then Immortals is at 6, even with 5 wins. So a little rough on that, but it's actually, these numbers were lower than I expected.
I think it's one of those things where, like, those kinds of moments where you throw a 10K gold lead just get so seared into your mind. And also, you do have some comeback games. So the amount of times that you throw, like, not every single one of those 9 games that they had a lead translates to a win necessarily, I think.
Yeah, I mean, one of the first games we remembered IMT winning was that game against 100 Thieves, where it came down to like a super late game team fight. And I don't believe they had the lead for very long in that game, if at all.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me because, of course, IMT is the team that's sitting right now at last place, but they're sixth in time spent with a major lead. And we can vividly remember all of the games, literally both of their TSM games. The CLG game, the Golden Guardians game, I guess the TL one, if, you know, how they were basically at their doorstep and then made the fatal flaw, where they could have easily won about 5 games in this split. Would have drastically changed the conversation. So it's one of those things where all of these teams have those moments. Golden Guardians certainly had theirs, but you need to be able to consistently end them. And IMT has been a team that's been struggling with that so much that they are at, I think, 7 losses in a row, and right now, checking out right now at last place.
Yeah, Immortals was able to pick up the surprise win yesterday against FlyQuest.
Oh, true,
as soon as the pressure was off. And I think for Golden Guardians, it's a huge opportunity here to make good on any of the throws that they've had, because 4th place is still in reach. If they just win out today, they will be put into the winner's bracket of those finals. So got to see how this is going to play out. Golden Guardians versus Immortals. Pastry and Azael, take it away.
Thank you very much, Jat and the gang. It is gonna be a day. Azael.
The gang?
I guess so.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
They could be the gang.
Herd of analysts?
Is Jat part of the gang, or is it just like there's Jat and then Mark and Emily are the gang?
It depends. I think when Dash is hosting, Jat goes back, and when he's
Jat
not,
becomes the gang, so he's separate.
Yeah. Right now he's separate.
He's no longer a caster.
No, right
just
now
like
he's
Dash.
just a host right now.
Just,
Exactly. Yeah.
He's just the host.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how it works.
Makes sense. I'm excited for this one. It's going to be interesting to see if Golden Guardians can keep pace, or if Immortals, if there will be an upset. I mean, we've had a lot of really unexpected results today. Immortals, of course, making another sub. They have brought in Chad as their jungler. So not something that I saw them post about or anything. You know, I checked their Twitter, so a little bit on the sly. It feels like they're subbing them in, but giving their academy guys some time, as CLG also did earlier today.
2 things. One is that Chad actually, as the desk pointed out, has quite a few reps with Arrow. Arrow was, of course, on the academy team for a lot of it, basically half of this split. So definitely have some synergy there on a lot of the academy games where Chad setting up for Arrow. The other is, and this is a shout out to Cubby out there on the internet, who is a big proponent of talking about player stories. Chad has, a year ago, was not playing competitive. He's like completely from solo queue into 5s, from academy, and now on the LCS stage for a game.
That's a Chad jungler. If I've ever seen one.
It certainly is.
We'll see if he can live up to the namesake.
Does it translate? We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, that's the question, right? It is a different beast playing at the LCS level than Academy, right? And we saw that demonstrated in the CLG game earlier today, right? You know, that was EG, you know, a 6th-ish place team as they were tied in the standings prior to that game, going up against #1 Academy, and it was, what, a 21-minute win, something like that. It was very, very one-sided. And I know a lot of players, you talk to them, they realize that when they do play at that LCS level, that it is a significant step up. Things that you can do on the academy stage that won't be punished are very often going to be punished on the LCS stage. And there's also just the added pressure of playing on the stage itself, you know, knowing that there's more people watching, knowing that, you know, this is a big opportunity for you to kind of prove yourself at that level. The mental game, I think, is really, really big when people are making these jumps. And I think, again, we're going to see that potentially demonstrated next week with the return of the fans, because that's another level that puts pressure on some of these players that just haven't done it before.
Well, looks like players are getting checklisted. Makes sense when you have a new player new to this stage. You also have to do some things you maybe don't have to do if you're playing remotely. Chad himself did tweet, though. He says he's going to flip it. It's going to be either like a glorious 10 or 0-10. He's ready. You know what? I think that's the mentality you want to have. I mean, you're here to show off. You're here to get exposure to those things that you're mentioning, because it is next to impossible to get those things if you do not play on the stage, which is one of the reasons teams like to bring their academy players in. And Happy Game Immortals has been pretty deadly. In fact, the no pressure teams have been quite deadly so far this weekend.
They have.
TL, you better watch out.
I mean, it is such a mental game, man. Like, you watch some of these players. There are players that people consider to be like very low tier at the pro level, and some of these guys, you watch them play in practice, you watch them play in solo queue, even champions queue, and they can smack around some of the top guys when they're on it. But you know, the mental factor, I think, is huge. Some people play, you know, much more conservative, obviously on the stage, aren't really confident to make some of those plays, or they have tendencies that pro teams are actually playing around to punish, and that's something that you're going to have to be really, really careful about when you're playing against some of these top level guys. Chad, most played champion by far of this split has been the Viego, so it'll be interesting to see if he does kind of default to Comfort. That is one of his best performing champions, also his most played, so going to be interesting to see what he wants to bring out, especially if he wants to play aggressive. I think Viego is one of those champions that can be very feast or famine. If you have a really good game, you could absolutely take over.
Yeah, we kind of saw that in the last game, actually. Jose putting in good work with that jungler, so we'll see what happens here. Obviously, for the GG side, like we're just getting situated. Canada qualify for the World Cup. He's having a snooze. He's done. Been up
Canada did qualify for the World Cup. That's a fat dub.
That is a dub.
And as you pointed out, Golden Guardians have two Canadians.
Two Canadians.
So they may have the World Cup buff.
They may.
Remains to be seen.
We'll see.
Canada at the World Cup, probably not going to do so hot, but they're there.
You know what? We could say the same thing about Golden Guardians and playoffs. We'll have to see if they make it.
We could, yeah. You don't think they're going to do well in playoffs? You're just not giving them a chance here?
I will say this.
Because Canada's for sure going to get blasted at the World Cup.
I will say this. I think Golden Guardians' chances are better than Canada's at the World Cup.
Yeah, I would say so too.
If any team's going to get disruptive, I feel like it's a team like Golden Guardians.
Yeah. Well, they have a really good early game.
Yeah.
That's the one thing you have to give them. Even when they were stacking L's, but that early game though, like they can get some leads, and they did have a really clean game yesterday. They showed that they could play 5v5, that they could kind of play a later game composition and really close out. So looking for more of that here today, trying to keep pace with those other teams that picked up their 9th wins earlier. EG as well as FlyQuest both were able to do it. So Golden Guardians want to keep pace, want to try to get a fight for that 4th place spot. I believe that is still up for grabs for them. And that is a big deal because you get the extra life in the playoff bracket. You start up a bracket. Yes, you're going to play against C9 or TL, and that's really hard, but it gives you stage experience. It gives your players critically a warm-up series in front of a crowd, right? That is actually, I think, so important because a lot of the teams don't have many players who have actually played in front of crowds.
A lot of these teams actually fighting for that spot are in that position specifically.
I was talking to some EG coaches earlier today, and it's like Inspired has never played in front of a crowd, Danny has never played in front of a crowd, JoJo has never played in front of a crowd.
Pretty sure
you look at FlyQuest, Ablazeolive hasn't. Yeah, I mean,
Lost, maybe? I don't even
Lost,
know.
I wouldn't think has. Pridestalker, I had been told has not. I'm not 100% sure on that. Jose told me himself, even though he was at Worlds, there was no crowd that year. He's never played in front of a crowd. Like, so many of these guys have not. Even a lot of the coaches were like, yeah, I've never coached in front of a crowd, you know? Like, so it's something that's kind of on everyone's mind because you aren't really sure how to prepare for it if you have never done it.
And of course, the 3 top teams laughing in TLC 900 Thieves. Like,
TL has some experience, it turns out.
Turns out they do.
Combined 10 trillion games played.
Well, they're going to maybe bring that on the Guardian side as we'll kick ourselves into the draft. Ari, Zeri, Viego banned away. Chad getting picked on from the jump here. Techrim not jinxed though, so Aphelios is lost weapon of choice here, but an easy Nautilus and Lee Sin there for IMT on the 1-2.
Yep, Chad playing the Lee Sin, the Chad jungler for the Chad.
Very, very 10-0-10 champion.
It is. Yeah. Well, sometimes people kind of just do nothing, to be honest. It's one of those champions. Sometimes they just don't see the angle, you know? It's like, it wasn't there. Well, maybe it was.
Too deep in the roleplay.
Maybe you got to take the blindfold off. Yeah. Go for some plays. Try to do something. We'll see if he's going to be able to get it done. Pridestalker locking in the volley. So not going to be something he wants to actually scrap against on the Lee Sin. Will be very difficult if you do run into him in the 2v2s, the 1v1s. Volley really strong in the early and mid-game stages. On 1 and 2 items, Volley is like pretty much king of the jungle. It is really hard to scrap against him. Lee Sin, I believe, has that early game power, has the explosive ganks, and does have a lot more utility in the later stages where Volley just kind of becomes a meatball. A lot of people go Zhonya's second because they don't think they're going to get to a 3rd item, and he really kind of falls off later, so that at least buys you some time. But Immortals drafting heavily to play through mid here. All 3 of those champions that they've actually locked in feel like that's go to mid. Nautilus can move towards mid. Lee Sin LeBlanc is one of the premier 2v2 combos to play around mid for kill pressure. Of course, there is not parity in the draft. It is going to be marksman bans likely coming out from GG. Immortals could ban out some mid laners here to protect PowerOfEvil if they're concerned. Maybe things like the Syndra, the Ryze, maybe don't want to play against those. Ryze plus Volley is a pretty nasty combo because it is 2 basically point and click forms of CC. So the lockdown can be really frustrating to deal with. And Ryze also moves to sides so well. That is another thing that a lot of side laners don't want to deal with because Ryze gets the push. You go to the side lane, you realm warp in with Volley. Volley Volley turns off the tower. What do you do?
Yep, certainly can be troublesome to compete against there. Can't ban them all. To be fair, on the IMT side, it's kind of Ryze, Syndra, and maybe Vex on their minds. You did see that looking pretty good for Tukoi in the same matchup if Ablazeolive doesn't want to go that direction. Also love the Tahm Kench here for Olleh. Destiny put in work on that champion yesterday. So we'll see if you can help protect Lost and give Lost the room he kind of needs to carry in the late game teamfights. Lost has pretty consistently gotten leads, but hasn't always converted them.
Yeah, that's what I would really point to. So it is going to be the Vex ban. Hasn't actually been played yet by Ablazeolive, but is becoming a lot more popular in the LCS. So Syndra may be an easy answer for him. That's kind of what I'm expecting because it is a lot of early game power, and Volley plus Syndra can actually scrap against Lee Sin and LeBlanc. It's one of the 2v2s that you can win. Lost has been solid, but he just kind of lacks the killer instinct. That's my main criticism of him, is that he has the mechanics and he shows them at times, but we need to see him really play with confidence. And it feels like that's at times something that maybe he's missing, or he needs someone to kind of really tell him to get aggressive. I was having this conversation with Hai, where Hai's like, no, I actually think Lost is good. He just needs someone to yell at him to go in, basically, right? Because there's a lot of these games where you look back and Lost is playing from a pretty good spot, but he doesn't have the confidence to really go for the kills and dive in, and they are locking it in. Arrow bringing out the Draven. Pretty confident that it's the first time he's brought it out this year. I'm going to double check on that, but this is one of it, at least in LCS, first time he's brought it out this year. It is something he brings out in Champions Queue. It's something that he's actually been pretty well known for over his career as a Draven player. With the Nautilus, a lot of kill potential here. So Immortals going to play it aggressive, going to play it a little bit fast and loose here. No stakes in this game for them, and they have got a lot of places to go for this Lee Sin. You go mid, you play with the LeBlanc, you go bot, you got Draven, Nautilus, a lot of kill pressure here. It's going to be a blind Renekton and Corki, actually. So Corki to answer the LeBlanc, probably just go towards like early Hex Drinker or whatever, look to farm it out. But Tahm Kench Aphelios can definitely be attacked here, especially pre-6, before you have the Devour from Tahm Kench. You can look to try to get kills, and I think they're going to want to try to get the push, move down, snowball this Draven, because Draven just sucks from behind.
Yeah, I feel like Golden Guardians typed in the chat, we go late, don't hurt us. As Gwen's going to be the last pick here for Revenge. Always love to see Revenge on a carry. Should be a fun one there in the 1v1 top lane.
Yeah, and if you love to see him on a carry, you're in luck, because that's all he plays. He's played one non-carry this whole split, right? He only has the one Scion game. He's mostly been on Graves duty. He lost the Scion game.
No good.
You know, 7 Graves games. He has 3 Jace games, 3 Akali games. Those are his most played. Then he has now Gwen and Camille both tied at 2 with this pick. So some more split push. He loves playing through sides. This is going to be a really powerful split push style of comp. But the 5v5 feels like it's very heavily favored for GG.
Certainly does. So we'll see if they can get there without too many shenanigans. Azael, Golden Guardians IMT coming right up.
They give us love. They give us joy. They give us lessons in sharing. So give them some love back. And what says love better than something you can chew on? Use your MasterCard to make secure purchases from anywhere. So your gift will end up in the right hands or mouth. Because being there for each other is priceless.
Alrighty then, in we go once more. IMT, how are they going to do it this weekend? Since being eliminated from playoffs, it's been nothing but dubs.
Yeah, they have been looking a lot more confident. You know, a lot more, I would say, coordinated as well. You know, it's one of those things that they are kind of playing, I think, just a little bit more swagger. You know, they're kind of playing like they deserve to be here. It's one of those things where they had, I think, at times been playing a little bit more defensive, a little bit more playing not to lose, especially with advantages, and getting punished for that. So we'll see if this can be a good look for them here today. As Arrow with a pretty different setup, but I don't know that I've seen a lot of lethal tempo on the Draven. It feels less typical than what I've seen, but no, I think I'm just out of date on my Draven builds, to be honest, because looking it up, it does seem like it's still the most common to go to. I had been thinking a lot more about like Halo Blades. That had been, I guess, more of an old school style build, though.
Makes sense. Want attack speed, want to chuck axes as fast as possible. Arrow, as expected, up to date with all the Draven technology. Nice ward as well from PoE. Use the W through the Dragon Pit and then put one nice and deep next to the enemy red buff. So are going to get some info, as you can see. It is going to be blue side start there for Pridestalker, and the opposite side for Chad, who is getting help as well. So very nice introduction to the LCS here for their new jungler.
Yep, absolutely. And a lot of Draven players always kind of like to leash because they can stack up their axes early on here. So you stack the one axe, and then as you're walking down, you press your second axe, and you get to start laning with 2 axes. So it allows you to already start stacking up that passive. It's a thing that, you know, generally you see it as kind of like oh, they're being really generous, but a lot of Draven players like to do this for themselves. It is really nice to just be starting this out with 2 axes immediately. And it pretty much guarantees that as long as you're farming well and playing well, you're going to get a lot of passive stacks here early on. You can see he's already up to like 18.
Yep. Very in character for Draven. Doing something that looks generous that's really very selfish. But Arrow definitely off to the races early on. Don't expect too much early action here. In fact, they're going to lose level 2 nice and easy thanks to the Draven pressure alongside the Nautilus. Tahm, Kench, Aphelios, definitely more of a chill and try and farm lane.
Yeah.
Like I said, Golden Guardians do not want to scrap particularly early in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think if there's an overcommitment, you can sometimes have a good kind of turn. As Tahm Kench is pretty effective when people are engaging into him, but you've definitely got to pay respect to that Draven. You know, that's why it's Guardian Exhaust, that's why it's kind of this defensive setup here. They're going to be playing on that back end. We'll see if Volley wants to get down here and do any sort of a quick yank down towards bot, as he is clearing down this way and about to hit level 4 here off the Krugs. Destiny going out for a ward here in the river, but they don't have anything in Tribrush, and it's just going to be a reset early on from Arrow, it looks like.
No, actually,
cancel. Okay.
there. Can see there. Just on the side of your screen, Olleh's Tahm Kench record pretty good in his career, but I will say this split, he has looked excellent on the very aggressive engage heavy champion. Sometimes a touch too much engage from Olleh, but for the most part has been excellent on the likes of Leona and such. So Tahm Kench, a bit of a change there, but obviously a champion he's very comfy on. He did play many games on Team Liquid.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, back in that was the old Tahm Kench, so a much more defensive Tahm Kench almost. Yeah, this one's actually kind of a little bit more scrappy.
It's true. A little bit more.
You in, you know, get a little bit more aggressive. And Olleh, I've actually had a lot of fun watching him. I think he's had a great split. You know, to be able to actually return to pro and play at this high level, he had been out of pro for a while. You know, working a more traditional job as a programmer, I believe. You know, had his kind of journey through solo queue to kind of prove to himself that he deserved to be here. You know, made it that goal.
We are
on top
going
side.
for it. Chad's in trouble. First blood for Licorice. And the 2v2 Renekton, man, he just can't be fighting the bear and the croc. That's an easy double for Licorice.
Yeah, volley Renekton. So much power on that top side here early on. Well, we know it's not going to be 10-0 now. We don't know if it's going to be 0-10. We'll see if Chad can turn it around here. An early death, though, that one hurts, as both the kills go to Licorice. So that's going to make Revenge's lane really rough, because Revenge also spent his Ignite. So, you know, Chad trying to play for this scuttle on top side, but Licorice had the first move, and it's just the W into the stun as well, flashing in there from Pridestalker. He follows that up. 2 point-and-click stuns, really, really powerful early game champs. They make him pay, and now Revenge is going to have no fun at all in this lane. The early heal cut here, perched up by Licorice, and he gets the red buff, so Gwen is just going to try to survive.
Yeah, I can see some of it here. Nice hook actually for Destiny. We'll hold that though, because the Ablazeolive will have to flash. Does commit the summoner, but needed to, was dead otherwise there to the incoming LeBlanc most likely. And PoE did have a move there, right? You know, Ablazeolive was forced back. He did TP back to mid there. So a nice move from Destiny to force that flash out, but unfortunately, PoE could not make it in time to influence the top fight at all, and this is the result of that 2v2.
Yeah, and you got to be really worried too. You know, not this wave, but next wave, Licorice will actually hit 6. So if Volley wants to come back up, there is potential to actually just dive the Gwen straight up. You know, with that level 6 and the advantage that they do have, it is really, really scary now. It's just using the Valkyrie for wave clear there for Ablazeolive. He wants to push this out, get the quick reset. We'll see if he can get back to base, as Arrow has gone back, you know, grabbed up that early Vamp Scepter, and Chad is here in lane. They're going to go for a play.
Destiny does get the lockdown onto Olleh. Good flash to get him out, but the Q's going to be threaded through, but not enough damage there. The gravity gun in front of the tower looks a little awkward, but Chad does get away.
Yeah, 3 summoners spent, though, from the Golden Guardians bot lane, so they do survive, but a nice little bit of pressure there from Destiny, Arrow, and Chad. The cleanse actually just straight up used on the exhaust, so Arrow getting aggressive, does force out that flash, does force out that heal. Olleh, though, pretty healthy, and there's no threat of a dive or anything like that, so they actually got eyes on Volley there. You can see the question mark pings on his recall, so they know he's resetting on the map. And Chad is back to base. He's heading straight back out towards top, maybe trying to spin this back a little bit more towards revenge. Gwen is a champion that can outscale absolutely in this matchup, but the early stages can be difficult, and Renekton with the lead can be just so oppressive.
Chad taking a quick stop here at the Krugs. Probably wants to get enough XP to maybe get to 6. I'm assuming he's close.
He's going to need a couple more camps.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah, he's a little bit off for sure. But, even with just a level 6 on Revenge, he almost has his Ignite, so it's potentially what they're waiting for. But now towards mid lane.
Beautiful flash in from PoE. Destiny with the lockdown. The damage is there, I think. The Riptide's good. The Ignite is out of one more order. Maybe one more needed. Not there enough, but PowerOfEvil is going to find it, but it is a trade at the end of it all. And now the dive's coming topside. 2v2 already went in their favor again. And
they
now
can redive.
in trouble. They should.
Chad is absolutely dead. Pridestalker just starts it. You wait for the E cooldown. You stun him up, and he's dead.
Yep, there you go.
Yep.
Exactly what happened.
Yep, there's no shot you got out of that. You're not even level 6, so all they're doing, they're not letting you live. They're just saying, 5 seconds on E. Enjoy it while it lasts, Chad. So they dive them in their face. Maybe we can get a replay on that one. Bad stuff happening here for Immortals, already down nearly 3K. And guess where those kills went? Both of them went again to Licorice. That's so painful. Not even one went to Pridestalker. It's exactly how you would want it if you're on Golden Guardian side, and exactly what you wouldn't want to see on the other end of this. I actually really like this flash from Destiny. It looks funny. He's flashing around the minion to land the hook, and they actually did need every bit of damage. He needs to tank one more tower shot, though. I think he actually thought, oh, he's just dead. But the Ignite expired, and I think it was a miscalculation there from Destiny. If he actually spends one more auto and tanks one more tower shot, I think PowerOfEvil doesn't die. So they're setting this up here, stacking up the Rage, pops the ulti to take the tower immediately. Yeah, you have the Shroud, but guess what? It doesn't do anything when they're both inside. He dashes away, but it's the Q flash to finish him off for Licorice, and then it's just the redive, wait on the cooldowns. When Volley has his E back up, there's no worries whatsoever, so the E is there. Stun into stun, the E shield comes down. 2 easy kills, and we might be watching him die again.
Yeah, I was going to say, that genuinely looked like the easiest dive I've ever seen in my life. As Licorice and Prides are continuing to pile on. Here in mid lane, though, it's very action-packed as the Ablazeolive is low on mana and flashing away from Arrow. Licorice trying to run interference around the Rift Tower fighter. He's in a 1v4 right now, but it's a very big Renekton, but not going to go for the play. They'll just trade some gold instead, as Lost is busy trying to demolish bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, Immortals is basically like, all right, lanes are screwed, time to swap, and they're just trying to get out of dodge. So they're going up towards topside. They're trying to, stop the bleeding of this Renekton versus Gwen matchup that has gone so awry. But on the bottom side, the problem is Lost is pushing by himself. That's 4 plates, I think all solo, and they lose the dragon. So Lost is now pretty darn rich here. He's a good 700 gold actually up. If you're an Immortals fan, it's like, it's pray for Arrow. Hope this man cashes out, because I think if he doesn't get a fat cash out and really start to snowball the game, there's not a lot of ways that you can kind of see them really succeeding here. Because Revenge has half the gold of Licorice. It's like actually a 2,000 goldie when he has 2,000 gold.
All right, well, Arrow maybe a little bit better, but Chad again.
Got no mana.
Few hits. There's a very pretty ward hop. Kicks him away. Licorice now running the other way because there are a few more people here, but Licorice is like, I don't really know where to go. Can't go back towards the enemy jungler. Can't go back towards Arrow. PowerOfEvil is going to cut him off at the pass. And who gets the kill? Hopefully not Destiny.
It's got to be Arrow.
Yeah, Arrow is indeed going to get the cash out. Very nice banking there from Immortals in the top lane.
That's actually really big. He got 460 from the cash out, plus a 400 bounty, plus the flat 300. So he just got like 1,100 gold right off that. Maybe even a little bit more. Some quick math, but we'll see how much he actually has in his pockets. Going back to base, he has 1,900 gold, so pretty good. He's definitely a rich boy. Good thing that they actually had the extras roaming up, because otherwise I think he would have just walked out. Because Arrow didn't have mana, so he didn't actually have the ability to spam out the Blood Rush, the speed up there to actually chase him down. But it's a good setup there. Nice little kick play from Chad. Gets them the kill they needed. That is Gale Force complete now. So he's even going very aggressive, going not towards Shield Bow. He did go early Vamp, but then just straight in towards the Gale Force. My guess is it's just going to be Gale Force BTIE then as the 3 and just kind of go that route.
Good work there from PoE, just landing a chain, basically forcing Ablazeolive to use the package.
Yep.
Obviously an easy escape for the Corki, but might as well get it done. Lost, to be fair, is still ahead of Arrow in gold despite that cash out. He did pick up the tower, which is not only all the plates, but the first tower money itself as well. So a lot of plates collected here by Golden Guardians. They're actually still ahead 4,000 gold despite that.
But it's a little bit of hopium.
It is definitely some
because the
hopium.
game was so doomed, and the game is still so doomed, but it's slightly less so. You can always hope that maybe the Draven can start to snowball. That is kind of your win condition at this point. LeBlanc doing fine, of course, but Corki kind of just in the comfort zone here. When you have tier, Hexdrinker, you're just farming it up. You don't really need to get much done more than that. The good bit of news is that Revenge is not just getting blasted by this Renekton anymore. Like, the lane swap actually did kind of work. You know, Revenge has been picking up a bit of farm. They're up to this top side, though. Lost is here.
It's a 2v3 right now, but TPs are coming in for both sides. There's still a massive amount of damage there. Aphelios ulti in, but Arrow just gets a shutdown, collects the other bounty the Golden Guardians had built up.
That is a little bit dangerous. Makes it a little bit nervous there for Golden Guardians. Back-to-back shutdowns. Destiny forced into the stopwatch there. I'm not sure if that was an accidental one or if he got tagged by a lost Q.
Yep, got tagged by lost.
Okay, so I guess he thought he was going to die. 300 health. It's hard to know. It's really hard to know. It depends how many Chakrams were actually available there for lost on that auto coming through. So we'll be able to survive. Does cost the stopwatch. Pretty expensive to spend that early on, but Renekton has not really been able to get much done in the last couple minutes. You know, it's a small win, but now just trying to take away some of these camps. When he completes his Gore Drinker, it's going to be feeling really, really good. Will Revenge ult for this? Okay.
All right, Licorice got it. Spins around, hits it with the Q. I mean, there's also not much for Golden Guardians to use this pressure for right now, right? There's no dragon up. It's a minute 30. The Rift Tower got collected. Chad actually still used it. I don't know where it went, but did pop it. There it is.
Yep. Wherever Arrow is where you're going to see all the things happen. Because that is your whole game at this point. If you're the Draven, play for yourself. If you're everyone else, play for the Draven. There's not really any other way to play this one. It's going to be really tough. But part of the problem is when you're grouping this much, you also are sharing XP, right? And you're going to fall down in levels as a result of that. But you know, still trying to make things happen here. Golden Guardians back towards mid though, pushing this out. Licorice just kind of pushing and moving, and this is one of those things where sometimes I think you can be a little bit too generous with your lead, and I feel like Licorice is moving a lot. I think when you're this far ahead, you just want to do everything to get yourself more ahead.
Ooh, Cleanse used their flash as well for Arrow. Is going to keep him safe, but will not have that for the upcoming Drake fight if IMT did want to scrap there.
I felt like Licorice should have just flash followed and stunned him up. Didn't want to actually expend it, so maybe thinking, hey, the flash is actually more valuable for this next fight, trying to go for that and really set up for the dragon fight, because yeah, now there's not really any shot of them contesting you here at the dragon with no sums and no Gale Force on Arrow. That's a free dragon, pretty much guaranteed, because if he shows up, he will get flashed on and killed. Gore Drinker now completed there for Licorice, so he is really ready to go. And you look over at Revenge, he does have some golden pocket, so we'll have enough for the Leeching Leer, but still pretty decent amount. It needs about another, I don't know, 800, 900 gold for his mythic.
Yeah, not feeling too hot as far as the gold goes right now there for Revenge. So we'll see what they can get done here, but I don't think IMT are in the market to really pick any sort of even-numbered fight. Golden Guardians just going to enforce their will on the mid lane. Should be able to take that out nice and easy, and Pridestalker is already soloing off the dragons. So IMT not going to fight there. Instead, just trying to funnel as much gold as humanly possible into this Draven.
Yep, and that's the goal. I mean, you have objective bounties out here, trying to play for those, try to get to a spot where he can really be successful, but for Golden Guardians, they are just looking to set it up here, trying to move over to the Herald, start this one up, and see what they can get done.
Yep, knock down the bounty, deny that from IMT, get the Herald for themselves, keep snowballing here in gold. Golden Guardians definitely playing it pretty slowly. Again, This is a comp where like they do want to make sure they get their gold, and they're very comfortable in the 5v5 late. But
and it's funny because it's like it feels that way, right? But it's also only 15 minutes in, right?
Yeah.
You know? And they have Corki Aphelios, so like they're actually the team that probably outscales. I mean, I think in the side lane, Revenge theoretically could eventually get ahead. But that is so far off with the lead that they have, so they don't really have to rush anything, right? They can just chill and farm and play it slow, but with the massive advantage that they have, you do feel like, hey, they can continue to push that pace. And to their credit, they are now dropping that Herald top, going to go for a tier 2. They already have all the outers, so now working on those inners.
Yeah, I think, you know, Renekton, Volibear kind of did the job it needed to do in the early game. Got them a lead that they can kind of sit on, and now Golden Guardians are doing very nice here in the Siege, and that's just an easy kill. Pridestalker jumping on in. They're going to take the tower. Rift Tower charges on in, and now PowerOfEvil is going to try and turn one back around. It's Ablazeolive a little bit low, but Revenge is awfully late to this fight here in the top side, and IMT in a 5v4 going to try and collapse. It's only Olleh they have to protect, and Revenge is on the wrong side of the rift.
Yeah, he's got to dash over the wall. We'll see if he can get out. Looks like he will be able to get to safety.
Let
but
him go.
Pardon?
Just let him go.
Yeah,
no
let
need
him go.
to chase him. What?
Exactly.
Not worth that much gold.
No, he's not. It's like a cannon and a half, you know? No, he's not that bad. But looking to maybe stop some recalls here, see if they can find anyone. But they are spotted, and Golden Guardians will just walk back to the tower. I don't think anyone's low enough for PowerOfEvil to really get a kill here. He could try to look for a little bit of poke and just ruin their tempo. And that's what he will do. So he will stop the bases, but oh gosh.
Might be in trouble now as well. The damage not enough there, but Lost is getting in there. Revenge gets exhausted. Olleh going to chase Licorice here as well. PowerOfEvil's going to be safe back towards the Baron pit.
They are being pretty annoying. I mean, they've stopped the recalls a bunch of times, but now Revenge.
Oh, good kick. That's Licorice just getting picked up. And now Olleh maybe in trouble. Flasher still gets rooted by the Nautilus auto. And Olleh's just going to be left out to dry. He's got no flash, can't devour himself, doesn't even have the ult even if he did. And IMT pick up 2 free ones.
Yeah, and it's another kill going over to Arrow. Golden Guardians getting a little bit sloppy. They're still way ahead. I'm not nervous for them yet, but it is one of those things that you want to see them play a clean game here with the enormous advantage they had early on. That one felt like a little bit of a frustration fight where you're like, okay, you can't actually cancel me again. All right, you canceled my recall again. Okay, now we're fighting. And they went in. They do end up giving one away. Well, second kill to follow there after that. And yeah, I mean, we're seeing Arrow. He does have his full LDR, so just sitting still on the Vamp. So he goes LDR second here. Now I'm interested to see if it actually is just going to be a Vamp that just sits on kind of forever and goes towards IE, because it feels like at this point, if you're not getting the BT second, you should just go IE, because you are your team. Like, you need to have the maximum damage, I think, you know, not go super defensive. So we'll be interested to see if he wants to go towards that, because if you can get towards that IE at a good time, you get a crit X on Corki or Aphelios, like that can be enough to put them in range for the PowerOfEvil cleanup.
All right, well, we'll see how this Dragon setup looks here, because that's the next place that Golden Guardians want to look towards. Ablazeolive does indeed have teleport. In fact, so does Licorice, so plenty of movement available here across the map, but an aggressive TP.
Here comes PowerOfEvil.
IMT trying to wrap around here for this turret. Valkyrie committed, Flash is there, and unfortunately that attempt is not going to connect onto the Corki.
Yeah, not going to be able to find anything there. It looked like they just spotted it in fog, because you can actually see the TPs in fog, and there was question marks on that ward as it was coming in. So good eyes by whoever was actually noticing that. I'm not sure if they spotted him on the other side of the map where he's TPing from, or just actually spotted in fog, but either way, going to be able to notice PowerOfEvil making that move. Does force Ablazeolive to retreat, but it also means should be a free tier 2 in bot lane, as Golden Guardians will just move cross map. They're going to TP in even to secure it. So 5-man here. They just want to keep pushing. They have package. You can take this tier 2 and then retreat back to the dragon that's going to be up here in 30. And Immortals are pretty far off being ready to fight, especially with package available. It feels like they have to give this one as well, and then your hope is to really fight at that Soul Dragon.
Yeah, big fan of this play here for Golden Guardians, just setting up themselves for the Dragon. Licorice gonna get caught, but just jumps on PowerOfEvil. He's had enough! He's over it after the last little cancel that happened, and Pridestalker is gonna dive in onto Arrow, looking for the dunk onto the Draven, but he does commit the flash to safety.
Yeah, it's Flash, Gale Force, and Cleanse, but now on the side, getting caught out as Ablazeolive.
That's a big CC change,
Ulti.
just barely able to package around. Draven ult! He's gonna have to dodge it. Olleh with the defensive dive. Does cut Revenge off there, and Licorice is just zoning the enemy jungler away.
Yeah, Arrow almost had the angle there, not quite. As you said, Chad just getting pushed out there by Licorice, so Immortals now trying to stop them at this fight. They have chunked them out quite a bit. You know, Ablazeolive is low, he has no TP, no package, so maybe there's an angle, and they know they're not on the dragon because there's a ward in the pit. Golden Guardians will start it up now. It's tough to go through that corridor.
Yeah, that choke point looks very deadly. There's the Aphelios ulti out. Infernum is not enough AoE this time, but still enough to poke them out. GG, gonna take this dragon by the looks of things. IMT made it close, but not enough to shift them off this objective.
And well done there by Golden Guardians. They grab that third dragon here. Mountain Soul would make things very difficult for a lot of the champions over on the other side. You know, Arrow, PowerOfEvil, you know, when you're looking at the LeBlanc, the Draven, these are champions that want to burst you down very, very quickly. Mountain Soul going to make it a lot more difficult to do just that. Revenge still just trying his best to scale up in the side lane. Has gotten ahead in farm, but him and Licorice both don't have, you know, massive amount of farm, so it's not really like he's getting to that super rich point. Thankfully, Arrow still yet to die. You know, hasn't been able to give over that shutdown. Not a ton of adoration stacks, but he's up to about 120 again, so you know, would be a nice little cash in if he can get it.
Yeah, done some decent cashing in already. 3 kills to his name. Most of the ones that IMT have, but again, we expect the Draven to be involved if IMT are having the game go the way they want. They're still down 5,500 gold, and the Soul is looming now in 4 minutes for them. And in addition to that, we of course have the Baron to worry about as well. Now, to be fair, a lot of these objectives for IMT are lit up with extra gold bags, so there is gold standing for them to take up these bounties.
If you can somehow find a way to win a fight, then there's a lot of gold to pick up, but it's very tough because it's like a full item ahead in the jungle. Top lane is you know, most of a full item ahead as well, gold-wise, and Corki is just like not really been a big part of the game, but Corki, you always know, is going to be a big part of the game eventually, right? You know, the Ludens is getting really close to completion, already has the Mormana all charged up, so when he hits that Luden spike, that's when things start to get really problematic with the poke. So he's always has that worry, and they are onto the Baron here. Ablazeolive spotted walking in the river, so they're going to check, and they do know they're on it now.
All right, well, that's good info for IMT, but Golden Guardians, I expect, are going to just force the fight here. Revenge can TP
No sums
in.
on Arrow still, that's the problem.
This poke, look at Ablazeolive, and Licorice as well, are going to cut off the blast. A beautiful sidestep on the Nautilus Q. But this Baron's getting low, but I'm not sure they want to commit for it. Revenge has TP'd in. Pridestalker going to try and chase down the Gwen. Lost is now caught out in the pit. Olleh's going to be forced to flash away, but Revenge, not too easy to pick off as Licorice now in a 1v4, but the burst is there. Licorice going to die to Arrow, who cashes in again.
Golden Guardians again, they give up another kill here, and it once more right in the pockets of Arrow, and they're going to go mid here, try to take this tower as well. They don't really get anything for that Baron start. I mean, it's some sums forced out, I guess. They get the TP as well off Revenge, but Golden Guardians are in such a massively advantageous position, but don't feel like they're playing it. Everyone kind of collapsed on Revenge, who could be in some trouble now.
Yep, good stun there for Pridestalker. Just going to start beating up the Gwen as the big bear, but not enough, and no one can really re-engage. Carries felt like they couldn't get in position last time, and IMT just walk away with Arrow getting funneled more money.
Yeah, that's another 1,300 here in pocket, so just gonna go for full BT. Has the money to actually complete it, and is gonna go straight for it. And that is gonna negate, you know, most of the poke that Corki can do. So that is gonna be really nice to deal with that, as the Ludens is gonna be completed, I'm assuming, after base here. Yeah, enough gold in pocket now for Ablazeolive, so he's probably gonna just collect the top wave, then base, and grab his Ludens for himself. And as long as Arrow has access to a mini wave, he'll be right back to full. He'll have that overheal shield from the BT. I'm gonna be pretty comfortable to deal with that. The range can be the difficulty, though, you know, really close the gap against some of the CC that there is on the Golden Guardian side. But I mean, honestly, Immortals have done a great job to hang on. The gold lead is still very big, but like, it was this gold lead 10 minutes ago.
Yep.
And 5K at 24 means a lot less than 5K at 15. 5K at 12 is usually like, that's an FF.
Yep.
5K at 24, you never know what could happen.
Certainly don't, and that's with Arrow again. Now with a bounty, he's worth a little bit of extra gold. It's without, that's with Draven cashing in. That's without IMT being able to actually get any of the objective bounties, I think, that have presented themselves so far. Like, IMT have so much gold on the table to scoop up if they can find the right team fight. But the Dragon is up in under a minute. The Baron is still a threat. The Ludens is done. Golden Guardians, this is your time to pick up this win.
And it's a big if. You know, if Immortals can get a big fight win, they can get so much gold, and this could swing right back, right? It feels like this game will likely be decided at this Dragon.
Yep.
If Golden Guardians get a clean team fight win, they take the Soul, they get the Baron, that's probably it. But at the same time, you know, if Immortals can actually stave this off, they can start to really swing things back, because they would get a bounty off the Dragon, they would slow down the Soul. If you win a decisive fight, you get Baron, and it can really start to turn things around. So Golden Guardians have got to be able to kind of cross the T's, dot the I's, show us a clean setup here at this Dragon, make sure you are ready to go.
No flash for Destiny, so Lost can play a little bit more brazen. The Ablazeolive going to TP back in, has the package ready. Going to get cut off by Revenge, but should be able to sweep out the ward now. And IMT, they're ready. They're in the arena.
Oh, that poke.
Yeah,
they are here to fight. It's just all eyes on Arrow. You know, it's really all about that PowerOfEvil. Going for some poke. Pridestalker is so low now. Like, does he want to stay around? The question is also, can Immortals even force a fight? Like, Destiny may have to base now. He's down to about 15% health, and they're just trying to start this. They think Pridestalker might be going back to base. He's going to try to steal this for sure, though.
Yeah, they are going to go for it. Pridestalker jumps in, doesn't get it. That's Chad getting the objective bounty, but the fight is going Golden Guardian's way. Lee Sin gives up his life for that play. Revenge going to have to do the same. Golden Guardians, maybe a bit of a windfall. They're baiting him into that dragon.
Yeah, they get the kills, and now they can move to Baron. That's the critical thing. Chad does get the secure. They get the objective bounty, which is very nice, but it's 3v5 on the map now. PowerOfEvil resetting. He does have teleport, so he can come back out. They're going to try. You've got to take a swing here and hope that you can make some sort of magic happen. We'll see if they can do it. Destiny running out of base as fast as he can. PowerOfEvil can poke him down. Maybe Arrow can make some magic happen.
Ooh, Olleh taking a lot of damage there as well, but here's the package from Ablazeolive. Didn't have it last time, I misspoke earlier, but that hook is going to land. There's the package in. Pridestalker jumping on through. They're going to try and lock down PowerOfEvil. Damage is there. Lost gets Destiny. PowerOfEvil's going to fall, and now Arrow's going to Gale Force to safety, but he's only chasing it as he does Flash Cleanse away. So Arrow will escape, and that's 2 more kills for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, they get a couple more kills, but aren't able to get the Baron. Again, it feels like every time they have one of these fights, they force everything from Arrow, but they can never kill them while it's down. Cleanse, Gale Force, Flash, all down again. Chad is in the area. Will they decide to try to steal this? I think they're going to try. I mean, you just got it. You got to hope for the small chance of a steal. Revenge moving in. This one's so scary for Arrow, though. If he gets stunned, he's 100% dead because he has nothing to keep himself safe now. And Chad's got to find the angle to try to steal this away.
Just Gale Force the poke as well, I believe. There's Licorice jumping it in. They know the turn they need, and that is the shutdown for Pridestalker. Arrow's going to mount. That's the ace the Golden Guardians are looking to pick up as Destiny is just out of base to prevent the text from flying up on screen. But that is going to be the Baron Golden Guardians have needed.
Yeah, 27 minutes in the making. They finally get the kill on the Draven. They secure the Baron, and that should be what they need now. 9,000 gold ahead here. Golden Guardians finally hammering those final nails here into the coffin. We can watch it one more time. The poke was great from Ablazeolive, but at the same time, PowerOfEvil had really lit up the Volibear, so he pushed Pridestalker out. They decided to just rush down the dragon. They know they can't actually win the fight because they can't force an engage. There was no flash on Destiny, so they try to rush the dragon instead. It is secured there by Chad, but they lose Revenge and Lee Sin in the making of it, which is what prompts Golden Guardians to go over to the Baron. He's saying, all right, we lost that, but we have the extra men. Get over to the Baron. And this was a very long sequence because it was, again, Immortals kind of pushing them back. PowerOfEvil comes back, he TPs in, they're trying to push them out. This is where the summoners and everything were forced off of Arrow as they get pretty aggressive here. The package comes in across, separating them out. PowerOfEvil, of course, getting burst down. Arrow kiting back, but just good play there from Golden Guardians, not overcommitting, not giving any free kills over to Arrow. And now they're on the push here, looking to put potentially the finishing touches on this game.
Yeah, as a reminder, there is an open inhibitor in top lane. That actually happened quite a while ago.
Oh, Arrow's down.
But Arrow just gets sniped up by Lost. And Olleh's going to devour Pridestalker, keep him topped up there. Ablazeolive splitting on the bottom side of the map. And this is going to be at least 2 inhibs for Golden Guardians, but it does seem like the end of the game is the more likely scenario. Baron up for 1.5 minutes. There's plenty of time with Arrow dead for 27 more seconds to push in these waves and finish off this game.
Yeah, we'll see. It looks like they're posturing for the end here, Chad, trying to find an angle, maybe make a play happen. You can find that kick.
Ooh, just barely missing. Lost did flash in time, and Chad is going to get picked off, but IMT, that's the last play they are going to make for the regular season. Golden Guardians have more to play for, but they will pick up this game. A back-and-forth affair, but slow, steady, safe, and solid gives the Golden Guardians a victory.
Yeah, Golden Guardians, pretty dominant game, everything considered. Arrow made him sweat a little bit. He started to get a little bit worried for him, but it felt like it all came down really to the fights on the top side of the map. Licorice and Pridestalker put Chad and Revenge in the dirt, got so far ahead up on that 2v2 that it was very, very difficult for Immortals to play from that position. When the 2v2 goes that bad repeatedly, Licorice had 4 early kills. There's just no way to outscale him really in that matchup realistically. And it was all down to Arrow at that point, who was able to get a lot of kills, was able to kind of put on that threat. But Golden Guardians pick up the 9th win. They're going to end the split 9-9. Now 3-way tie. I'm not going to get into all the tiebreaker scenarios because they're going to break it down for you, I'm sure, at the desk, exactly how everything is going to work out. We got one more game to play for the regular season game.
Yep.
Pre-tiebreakers. the Golden Guardians can be happy with that one, walking away with another dub.
Certainly so. Again, it did feel like, you know, they picked to kind of scale. They understand the gravity of the game, right? They didn't want to throw things away, especially since IMT kind of like, I mean, you know, we saw what happened yesterday when IMT had the pressure off. So I don't blame Golden Guardians too much for playing safe in this game. Pridestalker and Licorice are fast becoming a combination that we will definitely keep our eyes on for Golden Guardians as they continue on through the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say, you know, it's a great win for them. Back-to-back wins, that's good. But also a lot of things to work on as far as how they close out the game. You know, with that sort of a lead, you want it to feel absolutely dominant.
Certainly do. But with that, we are heading over to the stage to join LeTigress and Licorice for our Verizon post-game interview.
Thank you, Pastrytime. Golden Guardians come out on top in this matchup. I've got Licorice by my side. That was very explosive on your side of the map at the start of that. Tell me a bit about your plays with Pridestalker to get things going.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're in the right spot. Like, we had top push coming out, like coming back out, and then we like knew he was on the crab, so we just fought them, and then later we had a dive angle. We have Volibear, Renekton, which is probably like the 2 best dive champs in the game. So we knew it was free, and then kind of went from there. Yeah.
Bringing things into a victory overall in the end, though. What did you make of the way the latter portions of the game went, though? I know that you and the team have been working on that specifically.
Yeah, I think this game wasn't the best. Like, I think we had a hard time getting synced up as a team where we were all on the map at the same time, and we could actually pressure something together, at least for a little bit. And then I died top at one point, which, like, obviously made it so that Draven could actually play the game, and then like maybe they had a chance to like win fights. But once we started grouping up, we like took towers and ended the game, and it wasn't too hard.
In the end, overall, when it comes to Golden Guardians, we've been talking about you a lot and what you brought to the team. Lost in his interview yesterday, saying how much of a staple you've been. How do you feel that your play has been overall this split?
I mean, I think I've played well. I don't think I've played amazing. Like, I don't think that my play on stage has been like the best top laner in the league, but I think that like skill wise, I'm right up there with everyone else. And like, I think I can show a lot in playoffs, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I think that skill has shown through a lot. And as far as playoffs, I brought, this is the remainder of the foldy sheets and what we face with Golden Guardians. So based on your victory, that means for seeding in playoffs, you do have to face off against FlyQuest potentially, maybe a matchup against EG, depending on the winner of that. What are you thinking going into those tiebreakers?
I mean, I'm not too worried. We beat both of them the last time we played them. So I think like if we play well, we can definitely take the match. But at the same time, they're not weak teams. So like, just see what happens.
We do get some questions from fans and out in the ether about something else, though, as well. Your haircuts and the looks that you have been sporting. Do you hold any superstitions in that fact, or have any decisions behind how long you keep the curls?
Not superstitious. It was mainly just like I wanted my shower to take less long at a certain point. And like with long hair, it is like a huge pain. Like I did not understand this until I had long hair, but it is a huge pain. And at a certain point, I was just done with it. So.
I vibe with that.
Yeah.
I understand that for sure. Well, Licorice, you still got a day ahead of you. We look forward to seeing what goes down. Thank you for stopping by for the interview.
Yeah, thank you.
We're down to the final sliver, everyone. We're finally here. More LCS to come. One break for us to kick to. We got more matches on the other side. We'll see ya.
We are going for it. Chad's in trouble. First blood for Licorice. And the 2v2 Renekton, man, he just can't be fighting the bear and the croc. That's an easy double for Licorice. Just Gale Force the poke as well, I believe. There's Licorice jumping it in. They know the turn in need. And that is the shutdown for Pridestalker. Arrow's going to mount. That's the ace the Golden Guardians are looking to pick up as Destiny is just out of ace to prevent the text from flying up on screen. But that is going to be the Baron Golden Guardians have needed.
I call it the wheel.
I don't think so. This is a miss.
Brother David, behold! The fork!
I got dead forks right here, baby! A toilet? We're not animals. We go outside like humans.
Hancock!
No king!
The people shall have the right to vote.
Even the stupid ones?
Yes!
That Listen, can I be honest with you? It stinks.
Nobody's gone to the moon, ever! Why not?
It's far. It's too far. It's far.
の未来はポータブルミュージックです。バカか！出て行け！バタリがいてもやるぞ！バタリ！
Like I was saying, it's FTX. It's a safe and easy way to get into crypto.
Yeah, I don't think so. And I'm never wrong about this stuff. Never.